What are you doing?
I'm uninstalling the World of Warcraft.
Why?
Because I have decided to attempt to quit the game.
I heard that was impossible.
So have I. Many people have attempted to quit in the past, but often have relapses and return to the game. The game can seem like an addiction, and this is why people often refer to it as World of Warcrack.
Why quit now?
Well, I was beginning to feel addicted, and slowly realized the incredible amount of money and time that can be spent playing.
That sounds like it could be serious.
It is serious business, bro.
So why do people play this game?
People play this game to have fun, although their individual motives may vary, and they will likely define fun in different ways.
So then what is the point of the game?
Besides playing for fun, the point of the game is progression.
What do you mean?
Well, there are many ways to explain it. For example, you have something called a dungeon. A dungeon is a zone within the game that 5 players groups together to enter. The dungeon requires certain prerequisites before being able to play, such as item level, character level, etc. Once you enter, there are many mobs to kill, and usually between 3 to 5 bosses. Bosses drop gear, also called loot. After you have defeated the final dungeon boss, you are meant to feel a sense of accomplishment. But that won't last long, because now you can do that dungeon again on heroic mode.
Heroic mode?
Heroic mode is basically what hard mode is called in console games. The same dungeon, same mobs, and same bosses, but usually with slightly more difficulty and variation in how they attack. The gear that they drop is also slightly better than the gear you could get in the normal version of the dungeon.
So upon beating heroic mode, you have won?
Well, you have completed the dungeon, but now it's time for raiding.
What is raiding?
Think of it as playing a larger and more difficult dungeon, with more bosses and greater time commitment.
This is starting to sound time-consuming, so why would I want to do that?
Because you get slightly better gear than the heroic mode of the dungeon. Raiding also requires more people to do, either in 10 or 25-person formats. This requires more communication than dungeons. Also, raiding usually requires more strategy.
Does this always work out successfully?
No, often your entire group will die time after time, referred to as wiping.
That sounds frustrating.
It is.
But I thought that the point of the game was to have fun.
It is.
I don't understand.
Well, raiding allows people to feel a greater sense of accomplishment than dungeons do, and it provides the closest feeling to actually beating the game. But here is the catch: no one beats the game, because the game never actually ends.
So then what keeps people playing this game?
The endless pursuit of marginal upgrades, which is what this game is ultimately all about. The endless pursuit of marginal upgrades.
What does that mean?
Well, let me break it down into 2 parts, endless pursuit and marginal upgrades. The endless pursuit refers to the fact that this game does not actually have an end. While there is content known as endgame, completing this content does not actually mean you beat the game. All you have done is actually beat the most difficult portion of the game that currently exists. Eventually, Blizzard releases an expansion that adds in new content and the ability to progress further within the game. The company just released its 3rd expansion, Cataclysm. The old content that was endgame is now mostly obsolete, including the loot you received. The marginal upgrades refers to the fact that from expansion to expansion, or even within an expansion from raid to raid, the stats on your gear improve ever so slightly. So, while the loot you receive from your current raid zone is slightly better than the gear you received from the last raid, when the next expansion is released, there will be all new gear with slightly better stats than what you have now. The same applies to player versus player gear, as each season, the gear is slightly better than the previous season. Obtaining player versus player gear, though, can require just as much time commitment as raiding.
Well, at least you are receiving new gear each time that looks different and is original.
Actually no, you don't, because the company often decides to reuse the same armor models. So basically you're getting the same piece of gear, but with improved stats and a shiny new color. This is similar to how a drug dealer might switch up the name of his product by putting it in a different colored pill and giving it a new name. But perhaps Blizzard's greatest scheme to keep people playing was the introduction of achievements.
What do you mean?
Well, prior to the launch of Wrath of the Lich King, some players had begun to complain about the lack of recognition for reaching goals and the missing feeling of having completed the game. So what Blizzard did is they created achievements. This allowed goal-oriented players to feel a sense of satisfaction upon completing certain achievements in the game, including leveling, exploration, raiding, and player versus player, all with subcategory achievements of their own. The achievement system also created a sense of objectives for players to complete, requiring greater involvement and time commitment if you want to get more achievement points.
Can you do anything with the achievement points?
No, they have absolutely no use or redeemable value within the game. They are often referred to as nerd points.
Then why would anyone care about achievements?
Really, no one should care about them, but they offer the ability to brag when obtaining some of the more difficult achievements and the opportunity to flex your EP. Blizzard may even create a new achievement called Show Us the Money. This achievement will be dependent upon you completing every possible way that Blizzard offers to give them money. So once you have purchased the game, bought the 3 expansions, completed a year of monthly payments, paid for a race change, paid for a faction change, paid for a server change, paid for a name change, paid for a character customization, purchased one of their in-game pets, purchased the in-game bow mount, and completed several other payment criteria, you will successfully complete the Show Us the Money achievement and it will flash on the screen saying, "Gotcha bitch."
What will Blizzard likely include in future expansions?
The most likely thing to be included in the future is the ability to purchase housing and/or land. This would mean that people could purchase a place for their character to live. While this may sound incredibly cool, it will create further involvement in the game. The best housing will likely be very expensive and players will have to devote enormous time and gold to be able to afford that new house in Stormwind or a nice beachfront cottage in Stranglethorn Vale. This will create a sense of social class divide within the game, as many people will only be able to afford basic housing at low cost. Some will be able to purchase a larger lot with room for 2 mounts, and a small percentage will be able to purchase prime locations in capital cities with a lake in the backyard. The ability to purchase housing will also likely be tied into a new profession, realtor. Your character may be able to show and sell housing, increasing your skill level based on selling more valuable land and housing. So basically, what housing will do is allow a greater social divide within the game, create further involvement into playing it, and allow some lucky human warlock to purchase a prime pimp pad overlooking Stormwind Harbor, and fuck his succubus 24/7, all while remaining a virgin from the comfort of his mom's basement.
So once you quit, what can you do with your account?
Technically, it's not your account.
What do you mean?
The account and all of your characters are actually the intellectual property of Blizzard.
So the characters that people spend countless amounts of time working on and develop a personal identification to, they cannot actually call their own.
Correct.
Is the account worthless then?
No, many World of Warcraft accounts are valuable to varying degrees. You could try to sell your account, but this is viewed as illegal for various reasons.
So there is no way to receive something in return for all the money and time that you invested in the game?
Well, people still do sell their accounts and get some money, but not having an official platform through which to do so makes selling risky. Many people sell on Craigslist or to Chinese gold sellers. eBay is out because the account is again technically not your own possession and is seen as illegal to sell. It would be nice if Blizzard offered an official resale or auction service, similar to how Ticketmaster offers a service with most major sports teams. If I wanted to buy or sell official NFL tickets, I could go to that team's official ticket exchange website. Blizzard could implement a similar service, allowing players to buy or sell World of Warcraft accounts through them, and create some peace of mind. They can also charge a commission for posting listings, allowing them to make even more money and support the cost of the service. Ticketmaster charges 15%, a fairly small amount, so Blizzard should also keep a small commission charge. Make sure to click on part 2 to continue with the video.